Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to show you how to actually coach and develop a sales rep. This is my proven process that I use. Steal this, use this how you may see fit. But this is not only has gotten me results from agents' perspective, but when I interview with jobs, that's one of the things that they're looking for people to be able to do is coach and develop effectively. So let's get into it. So in order to understand and sell, in order to coach effectively, what you want to do is you want to start with the data. So you want to validate. So data. Can we make this? So with data, you want to kind of get a sense of what the numbers are telling you, right? And so you're going to need to understand KPIs. So what are KPIs? KPIs are key performance indicators, which is a fancy word for just metrics, or a fancy acronym for metrics. That's all it is. They're just metrics. Any sales organization is going to track the number of leads that come in, the number of interactions that a sales rep has, and then the number of sales they have against the number of interactions that they've had. So leads to conversations. And this is just a really basic one. There's a lot more KPIs at a more a bigger scale. But you want to start with what the KPIs tell you. So, for example, if I'm in inside sales in a call center, and I have a rep that is converting, let's just say, under 10%. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been out of school for a while. I don't remember which one is the less than or greater than sign. I think less than, because I used to remember it as an L, kind of like a. Anyway, so we're gonna go with that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But less than 10%. And so if they're converting at less than 10%, and let's just say the goal is 16%, right? So if we have a rep that's converting at 10%, the next thing that we want to do is we want to get in the weeds and listen to calls and see what is happening. So if someone's converting at 10%, depending on the number of calls that they have taken or interactions that they've taken in general, one thing that you would want to look at is the intro and their discovery or their needs analysis, right? So you want to validate what the numbers say. This is written so ugly. And the first one was diagnose. Wow. Did I forget to spell? So the first step was diagnose. The next step is validate. So, and let me backtrack real quick. The whole point of diagnosing is we want to come away with a hypothesis. You remember a hypothesis from the scientific experiment? That's kind of how this works, which is very weird that a scientific experiment model works in sales management. But anyway, so you want to form a hypothesis. So like I said, my hypothesis with this is if a sales rep is converting 10% or less and the goal is 15, 16% or better, then the area of the call that you want to focus in is going to be the intro or the needs analysis / discovery phase. And the reason why is because of this. If someone has a lot of calls that are ending very quickly, then they have an intro problem. So you want to further validate by when you're listening to calls to see how many of the calls that they've taken are ending relatively quickly. So now, if somebody doesn't necessarily have an intro problem, but their problem, they keep people on the phone, a lot, but when they don't close a lot, and that's why the conversion is 10% or less. So long call, no close. So if someone has a long call but no close, I would look in one of two spots: needs analysis or discovery, or the presentation of the product, because they're typically tied together or linked. So for the sake of this discussion, we're just going to say that this person had calls that are ending quickly. Okay. So if the first step was the diagnose phase and you have your hypothesis, then you validate it and now it's correct. So now that it's correct, the next step is to actually put together the coaching. So when you put together the coaching, what you want to do is what I like to do, let me not say what you want to do, but what I like to do is I'm very structured. So I'm going to have a summary of the problem. And then I'm going to show what the numbers say. So I'm going to show the numbers. And then when I show them the numbers, I'm also going to have the call examples that support why the numbers look that way. So I'm going to have calls ready to go that highlight the behavior that the agent or the sales rep is giving and how it's giving them the numbers that they're giving them. So once I've shown them that, I'm going to talk about what went well. And that's one thing, maybe two. So talk about what went well on that call. So if they had good tone, if they, if their product knowledge is showing, if they do a good job of building rapport, highlight those things. Highlight those things. But then talk about the thing that they're doing that's keeping them from getting sales. So once you've talked about the thing that's keeping them from getting sales, you have to then coach them on the proper behavior. So demonstrate proper behavior. So this can be the form of role play. You can play the example of them doing it the right way that they've done on their own. Another effective way is if there's somebody in the office that they look up to or someone that's well respected, you can show examples of what that person does on the call. And then I think what it does is it kind of people learn differently. Some people learn by doing. Some people learn by actually seeing or hearing. And so what I like to do is I like to incorporate a mixture of all of those things when I'm developing somebody. So if I've already went through the trouble of looking at the data and taking a look at the KPIs and formulate my own hypothesis from there. Once I've had that hypothesis, I'm going to validate it. And you validate by getting out in the field. If you're a field sales manager or if you're an inside sales manager, you want to see the rep in action, whether that's on the phone or actually shadowing or ride along with them on their sales calls. And once you've done that, you can put together a coaching plan. So you want to summarize the problem. You want to show the numbers that show, how they're, the situation that they're in right now. And then you want to show examples from a sales call, or if you want to take notes, ideally, when you're out in the field with the sales rep, that you can bring to the coaching when you're actually conducting it. But talk about what went well. I would do one, maybe two things, but then talk about the things that they can improve on that you noticed and that are leading to them getting the numbers that they're getting. Once you've done that, demonstrate what you want to see better. And you can do that by just role playing. You can just tell them and show them, or you can play a call example, whether it be from them doing it the right way or from a top performing rep. Demonstrate the proper behavior. Like I said, you can role play that. You can tell them the behavior that you're looking for. And you can even play different call examples, or whatever the case may be, maybe training videos, etc., etc. Now that you've delivered the coaching, this is how you develop. The development happens in the follow-up. So when you are going to develop somebody, you coach them. But how do you develop them? Well, you have to follow up consistently. And this is why. If you talk to them about an issue that they're having, but you don't follow up, they're going to continue to have that exact same issue. So what you want to do is, after you've delivered the coaching, immediately after, start listening to their calls or go on another ride along with them or shadow them, whatever the case may be. Because you want to see them iterate what you're doing or what you coached on. They may not get it initially, but that's when you continue to provide that coaching guidance on what you're looking for. So in a perfect world, they'll fix it immediately. And there are people that are like that. I've had people on my teams in the past who were exactly like that. You would coach them on one thing, they would do it immediately, and everything was cool. But there are some people who it takes a second. So what I like to do is have like a ladder. So step one, if they're not doing it, we want to role play. And so you want to role play, I'd say two to three times. Make that a little more pretty. 2 to 3 times. And when I say this, you want to demonstrate the behavior and they're the client, and then you flip roles and you have them execute exactly what you're looking for twice. And when I say execute, they have to do it the way that you're looking for them to do it. And that's the coaching. After, if they've continued to have the same numbers and you're still not seeing the uptick that you're looking for. So now, step 2, we are going to listen to their calls in the coaching, but also the calls of higher performers to really drive home the difference. Or go on ride along with a top rep, because then they're going to get a chance to see what that top rep is doing that they're not doing. And that could make a world of the difference. Step 3. If they are still not getting it after step 3, then you have to make a decision if it's a skill or will issue. Skill versus will issue. Because if this is a skill issue, then you need to determine what their mindset is. What's the mindset behind why they're not able to do this? What's what's holding them back from saying the words the way that you are suggesting that they say them in? Because excuses are only going to work for so long until it's determined that it's more of a will issue. And if it's a will issue, if someone's not willing to do those things, then you have to have a different conversation about their future. But that's a little bit about how I go about coaching and developing. I think it's not, everybody might have their own style. Everybody might have their own techniques. But I think if there are salespeople who are telling you or are coaching you without having data to support why they're coaching you, they could be coaching you on something that's not actually going to give you sales, right? Data is how businesses, countries, corporations make decisions by data. Good ones, anyway. Good companies, good corporations, businesses, whatever the case may be, make decisions based on data. Data is telling us this. Let's validate why the data looks this way. If we want to improve it, let's have some suggestions, or let's formulate some suggestions or ideas on things that we think can actually move the needle in the direction we want to move it in. Let's test it. After we test it, let's review. Did the test work? Did the test not work? If the test worked, cool. That's a perfect world. If the test didn't work, let's try another thing. Iterate, test. Did it work? Did it not work? And you continue to go from that perspective. So if someone's just coaching you, telling, just based on, what you're saying, like, I would take that with a grain of salt. Because it might not actually fix the problem that's keeping you from sales. So hope this was helpful. If you made it this far in the video, next time, see y'all in the next video. Appreciate you.